but there were times I had to get him man to man. And
favorite team that you guys love to face in your division?
Yours.
Yes, sir.
Like the games like we play against the Raiders, you might get 3 sacks when they had Jamarcus Russell, which I did. So I got 3 sacks on them. I got 3 sacks on them in the first half, right?
Yeah.
And I'm ready, and they take Tommy Maddox.
What is going on, everyone? We're live in the JBW Solutions Studio for another episode of the West War Room Rivals. I am your host tonight. I'm Corey, representing the 9-2 Broncos. Let's go ahead and do a roll call, starting with the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm Caleb, representing the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm Austin, representing the Chiefs.
And I'm Matt, representing the first place Broncos.
And we are a man down tonight. Cody has some sadness from last night's game, so he's taking the night off. No, I'm just kidding. He has work obligations, so Cody's not here tonight. He will be back with us later on this week. So Cody, again, we'll still talk the Raiders Cowboys because there's a lot of stuff to break down with that one. So first I do want to start tonight kind of opening and talking about, so we've been doing some West War Room holiday fun posts. Last week we did which AFC West team are you most thankful for. We each kind of obviously talked our teams up, and then this week we did one thing that we're thankful for. And again, we're thankful for our teams. I know, and you'll see here later on when we get into this episode about the Chargers and obviously the Chiefs and Raiders. It's not easy in Loserville right now, so we'll kind of dive into that, but we do have some more posts coming up, so make sure you guys are looking for those. Matt, we got a pretty laid back week. Obviously it's a bye week for us, so we'll enjoy this and let these guys kind of talk their teams up as we get to our pregame show on Sunday. So without further ado, I do want to jump into the first game is the Chargers and Jags, kind of a recap. And Matt, I kind of like what you put on that graphic earlier about the Chargers power outage. That's exactly kind of what it was. And I'll be the first to admit, I didn't see any of this happening. So Caleb, you are the Chargers representative, buddy. Crash out.
That was a typical Charger performance. Yearly Charger performance. It really was. And I hate saying that because I'm such a massive fan and I'm a homer. Like, I know you guys will get that. I'll still always pick my team to win, whatever. That was pitiful, man. We cannot continue to let or have to – we can't require Justin Herbert to be Superman every single game. And whenever he's not Superman, we look horrible like that, like we did this week. I mean, he did not have a good game by any means. But no one else stepped up for him. Like, we had no one else helping him out at all. I mean – that's beyond the point. But anyways, I'll get into this because I'll talk more about this later. That might be a sneak peek into what I discuss in my Counter-Strike. But I don't know. I think the bye week for the Chargers is coming at the right time. We should be getting Amari and Hampton back after this week. I'm so disappointed in the performance. Just the lack of pride it seemed like they played with. Dude, like, if you watch that game, like just make a tackle. Like, do something. Make a play. Something. I mean, we had a total of like 130-something yards. Rushing, passing, everything. That's terrible, dude. Herbert threw for 81 and an INT. Like, we can't win like that. We cannot win like that. And it hurts me to even talk about this because I've never seen Justin Herbert play the way he did. And no one else stepped up for him. Defense didn't step up. They keep me coming just enough to where I have a little hope. We beat the Steelers. We beat the Titans. We beat a couple teams, and then they just yanked that hope right out from under me. Gosh, drives me crazy, man. But
Do you
That's my
remember
crash out a little bit.
the first text that you sent to our group chat? Do you remember your first text to our group chat Sunday?
I don't.
Right, like so. Red Zone opened up on the Chargers game. What was the first play of the Chargers game?
Herbert got annihilated.
Yep, he got laid out.
And then my response was they're teeing off on Herbert right now.
So the first couple of group text Sunday was basically what we said the Chargers needed to prevent from happening. So Herbert gets annihilated. They're teeing off on Herbert. Herbert might not make it through this game. This is all within like the first drive of this Chargers.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was like the first highlight of watching football on NFL Red Zone for us was Herbert getting laid out.
First play of the game.
Yeah.
Not
At one
even
point,
joking.
they started warming up Trey Lance.
Yep.
Like they started getting him.
He
warmed
played the
up.
whole fourth quarter. Fourth quarter.
I do remember on Red Zone, they kind of were like, hey, there might be a QB change happening. And they showed Trey Lance and then like, oh, nope, never mind. Back to your game. And it was just like, oh, okay. Yeah. So I know we all were kind of on the Chargers for this game. And we thought it was going to be, like I said Trevor Lawrence, put pressure on Trevor Lawrence. He's not going to be very good. And then at the end of that take, I said, now watch, he's going to end up having probably one of his better games. And he was ripping it, man. ETN, Tootin, their offense was just, they looked good. They got Jacoby Myers involved. They got Timmy Pats, Broncos legend Timmy Pats was in there. So
He had 2 touchdowns?
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened to the Chargers defense is almost a more concerning part. Jags kind of just ran the ball down their throat and there was no willpower. Honestly, we can say Herbert getting annihilated. That's not super surprising given the offensive line and Jags have a decent pass rush.
Yes.
But what happened to the Chargers defense? Because whatever they wanted to do against the Chargers, it happened. So a lot of concerns, especially now that we're mentioning the defensive side.
Absolutely.
Maddie, give us a little quick take on what you saw with the Chargers Jags.
Well, one, again, we talked about it on our pregame show last week, was I had mentioned that the Jags had a pretty good pass rush. Their run defense was solid, one of the best in the league. I think they only allowed an average of 91 total yards rushing throughout the 10 weeks. And so I was like, if anything's going to stop them, it's going to be that run defense. But, I mean, at this point, it was just the wind stopped the Chargers at that point.
Literally.
It's kind of hard to form, what actually happened because, seriously, what happened? This is just, it kind of, Caleb, if you remember the playoffs last year, you and I, we both did a podcast segment and we both picked the Texans.
We did.
And it was kind of what we saw in that Texans game, we saw again this game, minus the 4 interceptions. But
I agree.
It was similar, and we kind of talked about it before we started the show tonight, was this whole division just has trouble with the AFC South for whatever reason, particularly the Chargers. So just nothing was going right. And again, I think the power is out in LA.
And we'll get into more of, maybe what Caleb's kind of expectations are as they head into their bye week. Like he said, bye week's coming at the right time. Herbert gets a little chance to hang out with Madison Beer a little bit more, get recouped, recharged. Maybe they come back with some more of that firepower after the bye week. So we'll dive more into that Sunday morning. So without further ado, let's get to the main event, the Raiders Cowboys. Like we said at the beginning of the show, Cody was so embarrassed by the Raiders' performance last night that he decided to take tonight off.
Even I have a crash out for this one.
Yeah.
He put his phone on Do Not Disturb. That's how bad it got.
Yeah. And again, just kidding. Cody obviously has a work obligation, so we're still going to cover the Raiders Cowboys for him. And I put it in the description for tonight's live on YouTube. What do we even say about the Raiders at this point? I think I saw Genty only had 4 carries for 6 yards or 7 yards. They did try to get him more involved in the passing game. I stopped watching at halftime.
Yep.
It was
at halftime when Geno has 28 passes to 3 rushing attempts as a team. You're done. You can't watch things like that. I think you were the first one to say it about the Raiders. Chip Kelly's got to go. I don't care how bad the offense is, but he's not helping. Plain and simple. I was kind of on the fence. Like, I've never been a fan, but like after last night, what my brother said 6 months ago, I am now fully on board. Chip's got to go. That's unacceptable.
Yeah. Go ahead, Corey.
Yeah, I made the comment last night. I was like, the Broncos broke the Cowboys just in time for them to face the Raiders to get back on track. Because, oh boy, did George have just a massive game in the first half. Just the first half alone, I think he had 6 for 105 or 104, something like that. But the bold strategy of leaving CeeDee Lamb wide open in the end zone, Jake Ferguson wide open in the end zone, and then that touchdown by Pickens, where he just caught the ball, went up the sideline, and just hit him with the mad right analog stick to juke in. And you see the burst, so much so that CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens were benched or punished or whatever to start the game, so they didn't start. And we saw what happened there. It was a quick 3-and-out, I believe, for the Cowboys. So it gave Raider fans kind of like a hope. They had a lead 6-3 at the end of the first quarter, so it's like okay. And then all of a sudden, well, here comes the Cowboys. Anything and everything they wanted. Dak Prescott looked good. Javonte Williams looked good. Even their second string running back had some good. He was ripping off a couple big runs. So Matt, go for it, buddy.
Yeah, no. What I was going to say was, Chip Kelly. I was never sold when I saw that they were bringing on Chip Kelly. I'm like, this is not the fix. This is not the fix that they needed. That it's only going to hurt this team. And lo and behold, here it is. Like, I don't know if you guys saw Geno Smith's press conference last night, but he was talking, kind of like making light of the situation. Like, just blame me. Your car breaks down in the morning, blame me. The grocery store closed before you can get there, blame it on me. Just blame everything on me. And it's like, don't worry, we are. However, we're also blaming Chip Kelly, because in your bag of tricks, in your little book, your little green notebook, Coach Klein, this is what you conjure up with. Yeah. This is what you have. Because the Geno Smith we're seeing now is nowhere near what we were seeing when he was at Seattle. Like, I thought his career was revitalized. I'm like, cool, Geno, this is the Geno everyone wanted. And he gets to Vegas, and I'm like, all right, we might actually have some competition. And just Chip Kelly's offense, Geno Smith, that doesn't go well together. You got to get rid of Chip Kelly. And Corey, I think you brought up a good point as well. Just at this point, where do the Raiders go from here? Well, sell the farm, man. Get some draft picks, complete overhaul, rebuild this team from the ground up, man. Max, I know everyone loves Max. Max has got to go. Cody, we miss you too, buddy. I can hear you crashing out from here. Max has got to go. Devin White's got to, the whole team's just got to go. Rebuild, start from the ground up, and just become a phoenix, rise from the ashes, do something. But this Raiders team is just deflated. It's Deflategate in Vegas. So
yeah, and Chip Kelly's getting $6 million a year for that offense. I know Troy Aikman and Joe Buck were kind of all about kind of dragging Ashton Jeanty kind of through the mud before the game, talking about you shouldn't have taken him at 6. You shouldn't have done this at 6 when you have all these glaring needs. There were a couple of highlights that I watched where that offensive line had no chance. Quentin Williams made a very big splash last night. Kenny Clark looked good. They had DeMarion Overshown back. Those guys were getting push after push after push. And Jeanty just wasn't reading it very well. There was some where he kept it outside. And, I mean, you watch it, there's not really much he can do to go back inside. So the blocks just – what do you expect him to do? I get it. You probably should have went somewhere else at 6. But at the end of the day, he's going to be one of your building blocks, him and Bowers. Then, obviously, I think he still gets your most value if you move on from Max. As much as I know Raider fans don't want to do that, that's how you reload. And then even then, it's not guaranteed. And I know Cody said it multiple times. You can't guarantee that we do right by those draft picks that we do acquire. So Caleb, give us your quick thoughts on the Raiders Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all of you. I think Chip Kelly's got to go, man. I mean, they ran it 12 times. I get it. Jeanty had some issue. He wasn't hitting the hole right. Their O-line's just terrible. But they ran it 12 times, dude. And Geno threw it 42 times. He's 35. and you sign him to the deal you sign him to. It's like, and then you're playing the Cowboys, man. Like, you can run the ball on the Cowboys. I know they had, obviously, Quentin Williams was there, and he was a big difference, but it's like, dude, you got to try something else. Like, you can't just keep continuing to put the ball in your 35-year-old quarterback's hands who's been a backup for majority of his career other than a couple years in Seattle. Like, you've got to be able to run the ball effectively. And then the defense, like you said, like, they were just pitiful. I know Cody will have so much more to talk about on this, but I think they have a lot of work to do. As far as starting goes, I think they need to start by getting rid of Chip Kelly.
Yeah, I'm almost. It sucks because I love Pete Carroll. Austin and I obviously were big advocates for Pete Carroll. We love the hire. We thought the Raiders got a good one here. He's obviously a winner. He knows how to win. And I think it's partially on him to think that he could come in and just get Geno in there and that they were going to be able to ride the ship, when in fact, I mean, just watch them last year. I mean, they had holes, glaring holes. So, it's a little bit on Pete as well. I would have left Ohio State for $6 million too. I mean, it's easy to sit here and say, but at the end of the day, I've been pretty upfront and honest and open. Every time I've talked about Chip Kelly, he's not an NFL coach. That's coordinator, head coach, anything. He's a college coach, and there's nothing wrong with being a college coach and wanting to get his feet wet in the NFL again. $6 million. I mean, I get it. So, and Ohio State's obviously not missing him too much either. So, at the end of the day, I don't think Ohio State really cares what Chip Kelly's doing. So let's move on from that one. Oh, go ahead, Caleb.
I was going to say, really, he's just been fortunate in college to have the talent that he's had. I mean, in my opinion, like, he's had so much talent.
Yeah.
Like last year, he could have just said go ball every time, and it would have worked out. He's throwing to some dudes, man.
Yeah, you don't have Judkins, Henderson, you don't have Tate, Ibuka, Smith, all those guys, Will Howard. So, anyone else have anything on that dumpster fire in Vegas?
Nope.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the last one. It's the Chiefs Broncos, and I know there's a lot of mixed feelings about this from both fan bases, but at the end of the day, we got what we wanted. We got a really good football game. I think both defenses played really well. Bo Nix did what we needed Bo Nix to do, and the Broncos got after Patrick Mahomes like we knew. So I'll go ahead and start with Austin first. Kind of your initial thoughts on the game.
I think it was a good football game. I know Chiefs are 5-5, but I think they're a pretty decent 5-5. I don't think we need to blow up the world like some of Chiefs Kingdom thinks needs to happen. It hasn't been too long since we were just, sitting there wondering who we were going to take with the number 1 overall pick. Like, we've had some dark times. It'll be all right. But from the game itself, it's just the Chiefs aren't making those championship plays, those timely plays like they used to. On that interception Patty threw on 3rd down in the red zone, there's just a play or two before that we actually, we completed a pass down to the 2-yard line, but Jawan Taylor can't line up correctly. So, like, they're just making their mistakes. This isn't me making excuses and taking credit away from Denver. This is me highlighting Chiefs aren't making the plays that they used to make, and they're making the mistakes that they used to not make. So they're not helping themselves like they used to. With that being said, it was a good football game. I mean, it's 2 good football teams, 2 good defenses. Bo Nix in the offense made a couple more plays when they had to be made. I was a little disappointed in Spags. There was a couple times where he left our front 4 to try to generate some pressure in timely manner, and our front 4 hasn't been able to generate pass rush against anyone really on their own. So that was confusing as well, especially it was a must-win game, right? Like, for the Chiefs, it was getting to the point where you have to win these games. So for him not to dial it up like it was like a playoff must-win game kind of shocked me. But all in all, it is what it is with the Chiefs. Things will be okay. No, we shouldn't fire Andy Reid. No, Patrick Mahomes isn't a bust. Like, let's just slow it down. Not too long ago, we were rolling out Brody Croyle at quarterback and just wondering why we're watching their games. They're still a top 10 offense. They're still a top 10 defense by numbers, by stats. They're just, I think Cody said it early in the year, they're not winning the close games like they did last year. That's the difference. It's still a good football team.
Caleb, I want to get your thoughts. I do have a couple questions I want to ask Matt too, but Caleb, I want you to go first and kind of give us your initial thoughts on the Chiefs Broncos.
Yeah, so to agree with Austin a little bit, I don't think the Chiefs are in any as much danger as Chiefs fans probably think they're in. I still think they make the playoffs. I know they have some tough games ahead. They play the Colts this week, but I still think they'll make the playoffs. I really do. And as far as the Broncos go, man, I was so impressed. I really was with – and you all may think I'm crazy, but I was really impressed with how Bo Nix ended that game. Like, man, that some of those throws, the one to I believe it was to Troy Franklin there near the end of the game on that last drive, I was like, that's a gutsy throw. Like, that was big time. I was really impressed. I thought this was a great game overall. And as far as the Chiefs go, again, back to them, they still have Patrick Mahomes, man. Like, I think they're just lacking some of the weapons they're used to having. Like he's getting older. They obviously will need to reload there in the offseason, I think, and I think they will. I think they have the O-line there in front to where they can add weapons now in the draft and that kind of thing. So I don't think they have anything to worry about. And the Broncos, man, I'm impressed. I think right now they're the best team in the AFC, in my opinion. I know they're not putting up a ton of points, but they're not having to. Like, they're winning the games. So currently right now they're the best team in the West. And it hurts me to talk about both these teams because obviously they're my rivals. But, yeah, I guess that's my thoughts.
So real quick, I did see Chris Jones talked about that last third down by Bo Nix. He said that Bo checked out of it because he recognized and Bo knew exactly what the defense was doing. So that shows growth on Bo's part. It gives me a little bit of confidence because there's some certain times where I'm like, what is Bo kind of looking at in certain spots? But when Chris Jones comes out and says he literally called out what we were going to do, checked into that play that he hit. So I'm like, that's good to see. It really is. So Matt, the first question I have for you is that, look, man, we've been tough on Riley Moss. You and I both have been. I'm not going to lie, dude. I'm kind of like, I love his aggressiveness, and I know it's going to come with these PIs, but at the end of the day, he's doing what he needs to do.
Yes, he is. And again, and I've been saying it since the beginning of the year, I love the physicality that Riley Moss brings to the table. I love it because that little bump at the line, just putting the hip into him, that throws off the timing between receiver and quarterback. And I love that. I love that he's able to do that. And I love that he doesn't give up on the play. However, he's got 9 DPIs against him. That's the most in the league. The next after that is 5. So, yes, you can argue they are ticky-tacky calls, or some of them are like, that's pretty egregious. They're just hand fighting. However, when it's 3rd and 19, there's no like, come on now, man. Yeah. I get it. You want to be physical, and by all means be physical, but no matter how small of a tug it is, it's still a tug at the end of the day. It's still a grab at the end of the day. And depending on what officiating crew you have, they're going to call that. So you cannot, like, all these DPIs, they come on 3rd downs. They come on 4th downs. And someone actually, I saw a post and they brought up a good point. It is so frustrating to watch another team's defense face a 3rd and 19 and walk off the field easily. Meanwhile, we face a 3rd and 19 and, now it's PI 21 or defensive holding 21. The ball we place at the spot of the foul, automatic first down. Now we got to come back out again. And you just see him like, no, dude, you held him. And, they talked to him after the game. After he's like, I know I need to get better. And that's great and all, but I'm hoping it's going to be like a Garrett Bowles thing where, Corey, if you remember Garrett Bowles early in his career, Denver wanted him out of town. That man could not block to save his life without holding. And he was just, why me? Why me? They're picking on me. Eventually he got it together. Now he's one of the best guards in the league. So I'm hoping it's going to be a Garrett Bowles moment where after this season, we're not going to see as many DPIs. But, man, this can't keep happening.
Yeah, Vance Joseph gets game ball. J-Mac gets game ball. J-Mac had a really good game. 2 huge sacks, honestly, of the quarterback. Good calls by Vance Joseph to dial him up at the right time. So now the last question that I'll pose to everybody here is, I know how you kind of feel because you've actually been on the Super Bowl bandwagon for the Broncos and their defense. You and Sly Williams had a really good conversation the other night. So I encourage everyone to go back and watch that reel of my brother and Sly Williams kind of giving the Broncos, Super Bowl contention. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor again. And did this just solidify what you kind of already been saying?
Yeah, I mean, it's what I've been saying since before the season. Defenses can carry you to a Super Bowl, and then if you get to the Super Bowl, anything can happen. To me, that makes you a Super Bowl contender right away. I think your offense continuously doing just enough to win games. It doesn't matter what the recipe is. If the end result's a win, you're just fine. So, yeah, I think as long as this defense stays intact, we don't want to wish injuries or see injuries on anyone or too many people or anything like that. But, if this defense stays just relatively healthy, there's no reason that they can't at least be in the AFC Championship game. And then from there, anything's possible.
Caleb, what says you? Are the Broncos Super Bowl contenders?
I think they are. I know a couple episodes ago, I said that I didn't think they were. But really, the game I was waiting for was this one, to be honest with you. I think that sold me on the Broncos. To see them win the way they win, I feel like they win a new way every time, but it's really not new at the same time. I don't know how to explain it, but I think they are Super Bowl contenders, man. I do. I think Bo Nix has just enough juice to get them there too, offensively.
And they said that Bo Nix was a different guy at practice in this week getting ready. They said he was actually he was in the zone, as they were saying, and it's a good thing to hear. So, Matt, does that win kind of change your tone on Super Bowl?
I think the defense has enough juice in them, and the way they're playing, I think the defense has made them Super Bowl contenders. Winning it is a different story because I need that offense, the same play that we saw on Sunday against the Chiefs, those very well put together drives, the good play calls by Sean Payton, Bo Nix making those reads. If those can be consistent, that's your Super Bowl champion right there. So I'm going to say yes because of the defense.
It's going to be Broncos Eagles Super Bowl. And do you guys remember that Patriots Rams Super Bowl?
Oh God.
Where there was no offense. This has the making to be the same thing with the Eagles Broncos. Maybe we saw what the Eagles did the other night against a good offense. You have a chance to and I think that would favor the Broncos, honestly. Shout out to their punter. I know I've always liked special teams and kickers and whatnot, but the dude had some boots, and field position and all that matters when you rely on your defense as your main unit of your team. So yeah, I think Broncos Eagles Super Bowl where we get a 12-9 game.
And I know everyone was kind of on Darren Rizzi about how bad special teams has been. Matt, you've actually said special teams will be an X factor quite a few times this season. And that was by far the best special teams game the Broncos had.
Oh, yeah.
Crum with the blocked field goal, which obviously ends up turning out to be very big. And then Marvin Mims, I saw Marvin on X said he thought he had it. His legs got a little heavy, and that's okay. He'd been out for a little bit. So he's still, Marvin Mims is still that X factor on special teams. And if our special teams can play like that, Big Nuts Lutz keeps coming up huge with the field goals. Sean Payton continues to put his faith in Will Lutz. So, yeah, man, and to answer the question about the Broncos being Super Bowl contenders, Yeah, sign me up for this. I want to see a Drake May Bo Nix AFC Championship game. Patriot fans, I'm ready to duel with you guys, just like the old days.
Don't let my mom hear that. Don't let her hear that.
Give me the Broncos Patriots in the AFC Championship game. Let's go. Drake May, Bo Nix, Mile High City. Let's go. Give me the Broncos in that. And yeah, man, I think you always want to say that that's the game that's going to get the offense back on track. Well, we thought that not too long ago, and then we came out and we laid a dud. I don't know what's going to come out of this bye week against the Commanders, but that's a team that's kind of on life support right now. So you got to go to Washington and take care of that. And then I know my mom's over here saying she'll answer the question, or she'll answer that after they play again Christmas Day. Denver's in the driver's seat. Denver has a cushion. There shouldn't be any pressure on Denver right now to do that. So Christmas Day is still going to probably end up being a huge matchup for both teams. The Chiefs have the very tough Colts team coming to Arrowhead, who typically history shows the Colts usually play the Chiefs really well just because Jonathan Taylor in that run game. So I'm going to be real interested to hear my brother's take on Chiefs Colts on our pregame show this weekend, because I know it doesn't matter who the Colts have or what the Colts are doing. The Colts always know how to beat the Chiefs, or at least give the Chiefs a solid run. So the Chiefs need to take care of that one first and then go from there. I think you got Oakland coming up, or Las Vegas coming up. So who knows? But that kind of wraps up no?
I got one more. I was saving it for the end.
Oh, here we go.
No, look, we all love Patrick Mahomes, and we also think he's an elite quarterback, and we can chalk things up to the playmakers or play calling. We all saw it in the Denver game, but it's happened a lot this year. He's missed a lot of deep throws that were wide open. He's missed a few in the Denver game.
Yeah.
If he just connects on these, and you guys have witnessed it a little with Bo Nix throughout this year. There's just been a few slight overthrows or missed throws on a lot of wide open deep bombs. So at the end of the day, even Patrick Mahomes isn't blameless in this. I can say what I want about personnel, why is Tyquan Thornton our best deep threat, getting 16 snaps, and we're throwing snails like Juju Smith-Schuster and Hollywood out there. We finally throw a deep ball to Thornton and it's completed for 61 yards. Proofs right there. But I just wanted to say Patrick Mahomes isn't blameless. Like, if he hits these deep shots like he has in his career in a lot of these games, we're talking about a different team. But I want to point that out to just say that's how marginal these games are in the NFL. No matter your opponent, you miss a couple of these shots, your game's a lot different. It's a lot tougher. So, yes, I still love Patrick Mahomes. No, I don't think he's a bust. Yes, I still think he's one of the top quarterbacks. But at the end of the day, he's missing a lot of these wide open deep shots, and I do think that's becoming part of the issue. It's not a hot take or anything. This isn't me saying, trade him now while he has value type deal. I'm just saying the offense has struggled and Patrick's not blameless.
And that actually brings up a good point, because Matt, you had a concerning issue with this game, and you actually got into a nice little debate with somebody over this. What was your concern as far as the Broncos and their lack of run game?
So, like I said, I'm not going to harp on RJ Harvey too much, because this is just a solid Chiefs run defense. I mean, Spags is going to have this team ready to go. And one of the things he excels at is bringing pressure, stopping the run. So I kind of figured Harvey would struggle, but Harvey only got 30 total yards, averaging 2.6 yards a carry. Jaleel McLaughlin, he scored the only touchdown for the Broncos, was averaging just 3.4. Yes, it's a tough defense. However, I think they probably would have gotten a little bit more if the run blocking was there. The run blocking was atrocious. But when they had their flashes, they exploded through. They found the run lanes and just kind of exploded through them. But this is the point I'm trying to make. Yes, they're winning games, and I am ecstatic about it. I am ecstatic that they are finding ways to win games. They're winning the ugly ones. They're winning the tough ones. They're resilient. They never give up, and it's great. And I am ecstatic they are sitting pretty on top of the West. However, the same ones that keep making the same excuse. 2015 was the same way. 2015 was the same way. We had the number one defense, 2015, and we won the Super Bowl. You're the same ones that said that crap in 2016 after Manning retired, and we missed the point. We went 9-7 and missed the playoffs, saying we don't need a quarterback. We have the number one defense. You're the same ones doing that.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. You can ride a defense all the way through. Again, I even said it earlier. I think this defense can get us to a Super Bowl. But if there's no consistency in the offense, the times have changed. That was 10 years ago. There are more prolific offenses out there with prolific defenses. And if that offense finds a weak spot in our defense and our offense can't put it together, we're going to be one and done again.
Look at the Chiefs Super Bowl last year. The defense carried us.
And that was going to be my next point.
Yeah.
The Chiefs last year, look at that. Their defense carried them to that Super Bowl, and they got annihilated. You are naive to think that they can just
lost. Okay, God, they just lost.
Let them cook. Let them cook.
You are naive to think that Denver is just going to win a Super Bowl with defense alone. Again, I love it. I am happy that they're winning. I'm happy that they're on top of the West. But if there's no consistency, when we get to these tougher teams, and yeah, we may be the best team in the AFC, but these NFC teams are hungry. They are making their pushes. Look at the Rams right now. They toughed out a gritty win against Seattle. Look at the Rams. Look at the Eagles. They're finding their rhythm. If we cannot get our rhythm, it's not going to end well. So, yes, it is okay to hold a team to a standard. Yes, I don't expect perfect games. Yes, I think Bo Nix is a franchise QB. However, I need consistency, and that's all I'm saying. Everyone else that's riding the 2015 meat train, get off your moral high horse. Stop being naive. It's okay to have criticism. That's all I got to say. I'm good. I'm a nice guy.
No, and I agree completely. That's why when I say Denver is a Super Bowl contender, that's why I always follow that with their defense can get them to the Super Bowl, and at that point, anything can happen. Because I agree with you. Like the example of the Chiefs last year, the defense got us there, and anything can happen, and it wasn't pretty. So your defense, I think, will very easily carry you to a AFC championship game, bare minimum. With how the AFC is looking this year, I think it can get you to a Super Bowl, and anything can happen. But yeah, you have to be able to criticize your team. It doesn't mean you're not a fan. It doesn't mean you're not realistic. You're not blind. You're not delusional. That we'll let all those other ones be that for you. So even though it's the Broncos, I agree with you.
And to kind of piggyback off of that, so there's still a lot of season left. Let's not. I get the season's flying by and it sucks, but at the same time, there's still a lot of games left. This is just now week 11 going into week 12. Denver has a bye at the right time. It was around this time last year the offense kind of started clicking and Bo Nix started, getting into a good rhythm. And that's the whole reason why we ended up getting into the postseason, albeit one and done by Buffalo. But the offense was starting to show a little bit of life. So I'm hoping that repeats itself and they come out of the bye, RJ Harvey's getting more involved in the run game. They're running the football more consistently. Bo's actually able to, for the love of God, they don't have to sit there and run the deep shots to Troy Franklin every single time. Like Marvin Mims is just as capable. I'd like to see, Cortland Sutton get a little bit more involved. I know it's the clutch moments where he's getting these. There's no harm in trying a deep shot to Court. He's a big body guy. We always talk, he's not a burner, but he still somehow ends up wide open. So, change up some stuff, I have nothing. I have faith in Sean Payton. There's literally nothing that Sean Payton has done in his time in Denver that makes me think he's not going to get this corrected and the offense will be just fine. But at the end of the day, you got to help your defense out because there's going to be one of these games where the defense is going to, they're going to come up against a really good offense and your offense is going to have to be able to match that. So before we get into our league recon, let's do a quick sponsorship shout out. Again, we're recording live here in the JBW Solutions studio. I see Jeff over in the chat. Thank you, Jeff and his group over at JBW. So they are the sponsor of the War Room Studio, as well as our segment on our pregame show, the Fantasy Frenzy, which still TBD if we're going to keep the old Fantasy Frenzy again. But, so that was a good sponsorship shout out here as we get into League Recon, or actually these are our seggies. So we're going to start with Austin's aerial attack and which defense stepped up in week 11 for you.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take this time. There's a couple defenses stepped up. I think you start with Jaguars. Kind of covered that already, but I'm going to take this time to give it to an individual this time around instead of a whole unit. I'm going to take this time for Myles Garrett. All right. I don't care that he's in Cleveland. I don't care that they don't win. I do care that he has 15 sacks on the season, 10 sacks in the last 3 games. He is the best pass rusher to ever step on a football field. I will die on this hill. Yes, he single-handedly kept Cleveland in the game as long as he could against the Baltimore Ravens. Single-handedly by himself. I mean, there's highlights of him throwing another grown-ass man right tackle to the ground. Like, that dude has a family. That dude is an NFL player, and Myles Garrett didn't care. He had 4 sacks, 5 tackles for loss. He had 5 sacks against the Patriots a couple weeks back. Like, the dude is on a mission. If he stays healthy, he will 100% break Michael Strahan's record this year. I just wanted to take this time to shout out Myles Garrett because I know he's in Cleveland. They don't win a lot. People only talk about him taking the money instead of going to win. And like, dude stayed loyal to the team that drafted him. I can't hate him for that, even if it is Cleveland. But the bottom line is he's the best player in football, not just the best defensive player, not just the best pass rusher. He's the best player in football. He's the most dominant. It's really unfortunate that he is in Cleveland, but there's no reason anyone else gets a defensive player of the year. He's not going to win MVP, but there's no reason he shouldn't be in the top 3, 4, or 5 with what he's doing. So yeah, Myles Garrett gets it for me. I know it's in a loss, but it was not his doing. I mean, it's Cleveland. At the end of the day, he somehow still makes Cleveland a little bit watchable, at least half of it when the defense is out there. I've been wanting to get some Myles Garrett shout-outs in for a while now because A, it's defense, and B, what he is doing is you can't compare it. It's just crazy that you think they would put 12 people on him so he doesn't get to he's the one person on Cleveland who can kind of keep you in games, and teams are letting him do it. So I don't know. He's just dominant. He's the best there is. He's on a pace to let's just appreciate, even though he's in Cleveland, the greatness that's happening. Even other AFC North teams, I see some people trying to say TJ Watt. TJ Watt's good. All right, but I'm going to take Myles Garrett 7 days and 17 times on Sunday. It's my Myles Garrett appreciation moment. He's going to get my Austin's aerial attack for week 11 and just honestly his entire career.
Caleb, what do you think about Myles Garrett?
Dude, I watched that game. I had it on with my 4 screens, and I could not keep my eyes off of him. Every time they were on defense, I was watching him. Dude, he literally single-handedly kept them in the game. Mm-hmm. Like, they had Shedeur Sanders went in at halftime, and he didn't even, I'm not knocking him at all, Shedeur. He didn't play good, and they still were in that game because of Myles Garrett. He had 3 sacks 3 or 4 sacks at halftime. Dude, he was balling. Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, if he's not top 3 in that MVP race, I know they'll never give it to someone that's not a quarterback, but man, he's been balling. He really has.
Matt, do you agree with Myles Garrett, or are you going a different direction?
No, I'll go with Myles Garrett. And you guys remember Carl Pickens when we talked to him, and he's like, I get over, it kind of felt like he got overlooked because he was just on some bad Bengals teams. But if you look at Carl Pickens within a 3-year span, he had 40 touchdowns, which is more than what most receivers in the league today have. But he gets overlooked because he's on these bad teams. And it's kind of the same way with Myles Garrett. I don't want to say he's not getting overlooked by any means necessary, but I mean, this guy is just consistently putting, the team on his back, or at least the defense on his back. I mean, 5 sacks in a game, and no matter what they do, you're still blowing by him. You're still getting to the quarterback. You're doing what they're paying you to do. So he's earning his paycheck, and I feel bad for him. But yeah, no, I got to go Myles Garrett on this.
Yeah. it's wild to me because I see the back and forth with Steeler fans, and they'll point out that he doesn't really do much or he didn't do much against them, and then they'll say TJ Watt. Like, I think at the end of the day, we need to kind of respect the greatness as being present and understand that yes, TJ Watt is in his own right a very good defensive player, but what Myles Garrett tends to do year after year, and what he's doing it at the rate he's doing it, I mean, just accept it. Like, I get it. You're a fan of the Steelers. You're a fan of your team. Like, Matt, we could sit here. Nick Bonito was the early season defensive player of the year. And he's obviously cooled off a lot. He's not playing anywhere near the level that Myles Garrett is. But Nick Bonito still has an effect on the game. It's just at the same time, he's sitting with 9 sacks and not 15 sacks. So we can understand that, you know, while our team has a good defensive player, it's just not Myles Garrett. And I don't know. I think I speak for all of us. I'd love to have Myles Garrett on.
Yeah.
He's worth the 2 first-round picks that other defenders were getting.
Yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
Not overrated.
No.
Yeah, and Caleb's probably like, can he play left tackle?
He probably could, honestly.
And he played four O-line positions at the same time.
Yeah. And
He'll
I
probably
think,
just sack the defensive lineman.
and I think we can all say we wouldn't want to see him on the Raiders because, again,
No.
it'd be kind of like a Brown situation at the end of the day. Sorry, Cody.
Yeah.
But I know Cody would love to have Myles Garrett with him and Max Crosby. I mean, that would, you know, that could do some damage. I mean, Max Crosby is kind of in a similar situation where he's a game disruptor. You have those good defensive players, then you have the game disruptors. Max Crosby is a game disruptor.
Yep.
Myles Garrett is a game disruptor. Max Crosby was doing everything in his power last night to try to keep that defense in check, whereas Myles Garrett also was doing everything in his power to try to keep the Browns there. I mean, they had a lead for a good chunk of that game because I was even, you know, they had the little scoreboard up in the corner, and I told my brother, I was like, damn, dude, the Browns kind of jumped out quick. I was like, shit, we just talked up the Ravens the last couple of weeks, and they're doing this. And so, yeah, no, Myles Garrett, and you know, I know we're getting ready to talk here in a little bit about MVP possibility for Matt Stafford, but I think you got to start really throwing your hand in there for Myles Garrett to be in that MVP talk. So
Yeah, I think my comparison toward it is like, I don't like this player that I'm about to name, but I do recognize the greatness. Like LeBron James, all right? Like, a lot of people, like, you don't like him. Like, you can still recognize the greatness that is being provided to the sport by said person. It's the same thing for Myles Garrett. No matter your fandom, just recognize what he's doing, because we may never see something like this. Like, he is on a historic pace. Like, so I just try to appreciate it, whether you like Cleveland, don't like Cleveland, whether they win, they won't win. No matter how much they're losing, just try to appreciate what Myles Garrett is doing, because players like this aren't guaranteed. I mean, he just joined like first player to have 12 plus sacks in his first 6 years, 12 plus sacks or whatever in 6 straight years. And so just try to appreciate the greatness. I know he's not a quarterback. I know he's not one of those flashy receivers or anything, but like, the dude's a generational talent. He's the best player in football. He's definitely the most dominant. So that was my Myles Garrett segment, and I'm not even slightly ashamed of it.
So let's get to the segment that I've kind of been waiting for all day, and that's Caleb's Counter-Strike. Why were the Chargers all hyped in Week 11, buddy?
Yeah, this one hurts me to say, but my Counter-Strike is the Chargers because, I mean, I know we talked about it earlier, but just the fact that they have so many opportunities to quiet the haters, I guess is what you'd say. I mean, every single time last year they had the opportunity against the Texans. What do? They lay an egg. They did this week, to beat a Jags team who obviously devastated us a couple years ago in the playoffs. And what do? They lay another egg. I mean, it's the same thing, different year. Same story, different year. And it's so frustrating. I think we can bounce back from this game. Obviously, we have a bye week. We're getting Amari and Hampton back. We play the Raiders is our next game. I think we have a good building block back into that's no hate at Cody's team, but a good building block back into into game action, but it was a horrible performance. I mean, there was, like I said earlier, no pride. And then you expect Justin Herbert to be Superman, and whenever he's nowhere near Superman, we get destroyed like that. Like we can't win games like that. That's why, and this hurts me to say too, this is why we're far from Super Bowl contenders, in my opinion.
So let me ask you, you think you have good building blocks to bounce back and everything. How much better do you think you can get with the current situation of the offensive line, though? Like, what is your ceiling with that offensive line the way that it is? Because we got to be honest, Penning didn't look too hot. We thought that was a nice pickup, and it, in fact, so far has not been. So what do you think their ceiling is with the current situation there?
So I was actually thinking about this today, man. I think we make divisional round is about – that's my max right now. And the only reason I say that, we have Jamari Sawyer. We've played him one game this year at left tackle. Every other game we've had him at left tackle every other year before Harbaugh was there. And y'all can fact check me on this if you want. But he was really, really good as a left tackle. But right now we have him at right guard behind Mekhi Becton. Not sure why. A couple years ago, Rashawn Slater tore his pec, and he filled in for him for almost the full season. And he was great. He was incredible. He filled in for Joe Alt in the Titans game right when he went out, and he didn't give up a single pressure from what I understand. So I'm not sure what's there. I don't know if it's a scheme thing. They don't think he fits the scheme, whatever. I think there are ways we can be better. But I think Greg Roman, our OC, needs to adapt to that. Like, we need to change what we're doing a little bit. You can't have Justin Herbert throwing it 45 times a game and expect to win, especially with that O-line. And then we don't have a run game either. So, like, we've got to figure out a way to adapt, however that may be. But, yeah, I don't know. I think our max right now is divisional round, to answer your question.
Yeah. Does anyone have any other teams that were a little overhyped for this weekend? No. All right. So I'm going to be short and quick with my crossfire. Dan Campbell and the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Look, man, I'm all for being aggressive. I'm all for, being the gritty team that you guys are. You're on the road. You go for it multiple times on fourth down, and you get the same result. Your quarterback's struggling. You weren't able to get in a rhythm, essentially, but you're in range to take points, and I think you needed those points because then it comes down to it. You're still in it at the end outside of that god-awful PI call. So bad of a PI call that kind of salted it away for the Eagles. Man, there's a right time to be aggressive. That wasn't the right time. You're on the road. This would have been a huge win for you guys on the road. And I think Lions fans got to start worrying about Jared Goff outdoors in a little
and big games. Well, yes, and you have all these skill position players. You have Jamar Gibbs, you have Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams. Laporta's obviously on the IR now, but you have to be able to capitalize. And I'm all for being aggressive and going for it on fourth down, but everyone's so analytic driven now that you listen to your gut. Man, at some point you got to take the points. You got to take the points on the road, keep the momentum. Your defense was doing everything they could to keep you in that game, and at the end of the day, man, you kind of got the best of yourself in that one. You kind of let your ego get in the way, and that's not going to cut it when you start getting into December and January in the playoffs. I mean, you can get by with that at home, but you're on the road against a good Eagles team, obviously the defending Super Bowl champs until they're not. I personally would have just taken the points there. Your offense is struggling. Take the points, live another down, essentially. So that's my crossfire for this week, Dan Campbell. And
and the Lions, which is really weird because I mean they're still a fun team to watch when they're clicking. It's just this was a game they were not. So does anyone have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I agree with it. Dan Campbell has to realize there are games where points matter. This isn't the Cowboys you're playing, and you know you're going to end up winning by 3 touchdowns in the end. You ended up playing in a defensive battle, and that means points matter. So not even just the one decision. I mean, I think they were 0 for 5 on 4th downs. How many of those were in field goal range? Who knows? But he's got to understand there's a time to take points, and this game is one of those times where if there's an opportunity to get points, you take them. So I think it's very deserving criticism. They're 6-4, and the NFC North is proving to be a little more difficult than we thought because the Bears have entered the chat. It's not just Lions and Packers. The Bears have entered the chat, and they've entered it loudly. So you don't have a lot of room to make mistakes that cost you games like this. So as fun as they are to watch, they're kind of like the Chiefs. You got to start figuring something out, or you're going to be on the outside looking in for a year.
And I see a comment over here from Seth real quick. I do want to point this one out because it kind of goes with what we were saying. The it factor guys that thrive in pressure doesn't show on the stat sheet, but Goff doesn't show up in situations like that. Bo Nix was in a worse position in Philly. I think that goes back to
you put belt to ass. We want to make sure we throw that.
Yeah, and belt to ass. And that kind of goes with what my brother just said, that Jared Goff in big games. So Matt, what says you about the struggle that is the Lions right now?
Yeah, to your point too, Corey, Dan Campbell's mentality to go for it on every possible 4th down is what cost him that NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
They had that game won, and if he had just taken points or just punted it away and forced the Niners to kind of like make the drive against his defense, you could have seen the Lions in their first ever Super Bowl. But it was that mentality, those unnecessary risks when you don't need to take them, and it cost you the game. It's the same thing here. Just take the points. Take those points. Yeah, hey, a field goal might not beat the Eagles, but you need all the points. You want to stay in the game, and you're costing this team a game. And like Austin said, and I've been very high on the Bears ever since they hired Ben Johnson. They've come to play. They fixed that O-line. The offense is clicking. They're making a run, and you could see them, possibly competing in an NFC Championship game. However, comment.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Again, there's still a lot of good competition out there, but, your team is only going to play as good as your coach is, allowing them to play or giving them the opportunities. And when you go for it on 4th down on your side of the field, now you're putting pressure on your defense to stop an offense that's explosive in short field territory. So, yeah, he would be in my crossfire as well.
Yeah, and I know what you're going to do. So we had Micah Chi-Town Blitz on before the season. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know. I was with you, Matt. I was very big fan of the Ben Johnson hire. And so when we did an episode with Micah, Chi-Town Blitz, big Bears guy, we were doing our predictions, and I predicted the Bears to go, I think, 13-4. Will they end up doing that? I don't know, but they're on a really good trajectory for it. So I know everyone kind of laughed at me at that point and was like, slow down, like that's a quick turnaround. No, it's still the Bears. They could still lose out and nobody would be shocked. But right now it's looking like the Ben Johnson effect is as positive as at least, some people like you and I thought. Like, it is a fantastic hire. They're looking good, but I want to say, like, I did predict them to get 13 wins, so I'm not incredibly surprised by what's going on in Chicago.
Caleb?
Yeah, I think Dan Campbell being in your crossfire is perfect because, like, history's there so you can learn, right? Like, that's why we have history books. There's no way I witnessed 3 years of Brandon Staley going for it on every freaking 4th down.
Triggering for
Take the points, dude. Like, I lived through some brutal things, but yeah, no, I think Matt Campbell is. Yeah, Dan Campbell. Sorry, I said Matt Campbell. Dan Campbell.
I'll be Matt Campbell. That's fine.
We play Matt Campbell.
I think Dan Campbell. Yeah. I think Dan Campbell that's I would put him in my crossfire too. That's perfect, I think.
No, and I want to get and to say again, I'm all for being aggressive. Like, be aggressive. Yes. But when you're 0 for 4 on fourth downs, and 3 of those could have been 3 points, maybe. Again, they'd have to
3 to 6.
3 to 6 points, maybe. That keeps you, and then now you're putting a little more pressure on the home team, right? Now you're getting those psycho Philly fans to, kind of like what Bo Nix and the Broncos are able to do against the Eagles. We had that crowd kind of stunned, and Matt and I obviously we talked about that Philadelphia game, and it's a team that they're still kind of on. They don't know exactly. That's a team they're still trying to find their identity on offense. They're still an inconsistent offense themselves. So now you're putting more pressure on Jalen Hurts. Now you're putting more pressure on Nick Sirianni. Your quarterback's struggling. So again, I'll sit here and again, it's okay to be aggressive, just at that rate that he was being aggressive. And to Matt's point, that cost you an NFC Championship game. So that's all for the crossfire for this week. It just happened to be Dan Campbell. Still love you, man. So let's move on to everyone's favorite seggy, and that's Matt's MILF report. Matt, let's review your Week 11 matchup. How did it go?
Yeah, so it was Puka Nacua and Tariq Woolen, not Cam Woolley. I know I got tongue twisted last week. Tariq Woolen and Nacua just had the best of them. He targeted 8 times, 7 receptions, 75 yards. Yeah, kept him out of the end zone. Woolen did have a pass breakup, but Puka he put up good yards, 75 yards. Again, caught almost everything on just one pass, and I think that's the one pass breakup that Woolen had. So, yeah, no, I think definitely Puka Nacua won this matchup there. So
not too surprising.
Yeah, get something about Sean McVay. And I know Cody was in our group text talking about, Raiders' dream hire would be Sean McVay, which, again, I'm not going to tell him not to dream, but, Sean McVay and the way he was able to do that with Cooper Kupp for so many years, now he's able to do it with Puka Nacua, and you just throw Devontae Adams in there too. And
he did it with Robert Woods.
My gosh, man, that Rams offense and Matt Stafford is just, it's beautiful. And, I know that the Seahawks kept it close, right? For Sam Darnold to go out and throw 4 interceptions and then they're still in it at the end, that says a lot about where the Seahawks are. And I know my brother's a big Mike McDonald fan for the Seahawks and where he's at with that. But I think the Seahawks fans, I think you guys have something that you're proud of again. And again, Matt's not taking any shots at Woolen. It's just a damn good receiver that you have to go up against. So, the NFC West isn't a joke. Well, except for the Cardinals, but Brissett still threw for almost 500 yards. So, but they still got their belt to ass moment for them too. So, no, I like that Woolen pick. It is what it is. At the end of the day, you're kind of SOL when you're facing a guy like Puka Nacua. So, does anyone else have any matchups that they want to review and look at? Nope. All right.
Real quick, I do want to give a shout out to Brianna from Brianna Sports. Speaking of Arizona, she finally got her much anticipated, long awaited interview with Devin Booker. Congratulations, Brianna. Well deserved. We had her on the show. Make sure you go watch that episode. She's up and coming, going to do great things.
Yeah, man. Devin Booker, NBA player. For those of you that don't follow along the NBA, he's a very good NBA player for the Phoenix Suns.
And he doesn't do interviews, but she worked her ass off and got it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So again, love seeing it. Good moment for her. Keep doing big things, and we're excited to see where her journey goes. She also called the Kyler Murray situation like almost a month and a half ago before all that kind of went down. So again, she knows what she's talking about. So like Matt said, go watch her stuff and see that. So let's move on to the league recon real quick. So the Broncos, Colts, and Patriots, 1, 2, 3 in the AFC standings. It's old teams, new faces, boys. It's kind of a shot of a nostalgic moment. So are these going to be the 1, 2, 3 heading into the postseason, Caleb?
I think it is. I don't know the order, but I know it'll be these 3, in my opinion.
And I know you're a big Drake May fan. So does this go 1, 2, 3?
No. I think Jaguars won the division.
Ooh, shit. That means the Colts are going to have a brutal kind of ending to their season then, right?
Yep.
All right, fair enough. Matt, just the 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Austin. I don't know. I just think Jacksonville's making their push. I think they're going to win the division. So
They're closer than people realize.
Yeah. And again, that run defense, your pass rush can get you a very long way. So
It
I think they're
does.
only 2 games back.
Yeah, and again, I am a Daniel Jones fan, and when you're asking which quarterback do I believe more, Daniel Jones or Trevor Lawrence, I don't know the correct answer to that one. I really don't. I like Jags coach more than I do Colts, and I think coming down the stretch, I think that's what's going to come into play here. So I think Broncos and Patriots, those are your obvious 1-2 seeds.
1 and 2, yeah.
Yeah, whichever. But I do think the Jags catch the Colts.
So we got the Colts at 8-2 coming off. They have a bye week this week, and then the Jags at 6-4. So, and just to kind of peek into the future here, the Jags have the Cardinals and Titans their next 2 games, and then a big one with the Colts, Jets, Broncos, and then they have the Colts and then the Titans to finish it off. So
Both the games with the Colts and Broncos.
Yeah, so those 2 Colts matchups, man, those can be season turners, and you're at that point now. If you're Liam Cohen and Trevor Lawrence, you have to win this Cardinals Titans game. You have, if you want to say that you are there, if you want to say you have the it factor, these are now the types of games that you have to win. We've talked about it with the Chargers. We've talked about it with the Broncos. These are the games that you have to win. You have to beat the Jets, and then again 2 with the Colts, 2 with the Titans. You have to come away with those. So, I honestly didn't have this going the way that it went.
Leave it to me.
Leave it to you. But then when you look at the schedule, you do kind of actually see it's a possibility. I'm still going to go Broncos, Patriots 1-2. And then for now, I'll say the Colts 3, even though the Colts have the tiebreaker over the Broncos. Stupid ass penalty. Yeah, I think at some point you're waiting to see Daniel Jones. But at the same time, they have Jonathan Taylor. And that could be a key kind of factor to that. So I just like the fact that it's the Broncos, Colts, Patriots.
It's not the Chiefs, Bills.
It's not the Chiefs. Yeah, and the Bengals, and now the Chiefs are fighting for their playoff life. The Bills kind of seem that Josh Allen's doing it himself. So we'll see how that kind of factors in as you head down the stretch. And then the Ravens are right there on the Steelers' ass. So Steelers need to kind of losing Aaron Rodgers isn't going to help at all if he does miss time. I know he's trying to play, but we never know with those hand injuries and wrist injuries. So I am curious that it's going to be a fun second part of this, and down the stretch. Yeah, and I'm super excited to break down the Chiefs Colts this weekend, just because it's typically a good game between those 2 teams. So make sure you guys tune in Sunday for that one. So let's go to the second part of the league recon real quick. Matt Stafford. I think it's time we start putting some respect on Matt Stafford's name. And I want you guys, and we'll start with Matt. Matt, make your case for Matt Stafford's MVP.
I mean, just what he's able to do, man. Have you seen the plays this guy is making? And he's another one. He turns nothing into something. He's got 2 great weapons with him, or actually multiple weapons, not just Puka and Adams, but he gets everyone involved in that offense. He puts together very good drives. He's very hard to bring down. He can read a defense like no other. I think he's doing well. And I do want to say Drake May has a case as well, but he's nowhere near the level that Matt Stafford is right now. I think Matt Stafford should deserve that MVP title. I think he's doing very well. So yeah, I love what he's able to do. And he's probably leading. I think he's the most accurate QB right now.
Yep.
So yeah.
Who would have thought the marriage between Matt Stafford and Sean McVay would? No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, everyone
knew this. I was gonna see how far I could get in before I was like, no. Everyone knew this, man. To be at his age and the injuries that he's had to battle through, questions before the season if he was even gonna be ready. with some nagging injuries. We had Deb on with us before the season, who she was upfront and honest with everyone, said, yeah, we get everyone talking Eagles, don't sleep on the Rams. And that was her pick. She obviously gets to see the Rams up front and center. She does a lot of media with the Rams. She was at training camps with them. She knew kind of going into it what the Rams were. So, yeah, man, just watch Matt Stafford, and his play is going to give you why he's the MVP. And to see Devontae Adams kind of resurrect, kind of, going from Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers, to Matt Stafford and what he's able to do, man, he torched the Seahawks, and he's had a really good, season with Sean McVay in that offense. So give us your Matt Stafford MVP case, and then Caleb will go to you after.
I mean, I've always loved Matt Stafford. It's hard for me to make a case for him not to be. I think Matt hit everything on the head. I mean, Matt Stafford would be my number 2 in the MVP race, because I'm still going Myles Garrett. But since we know that's not an option, like Matt Stafford right now, since it's a quarterback award, Matt Stafford is the best quarterback in football right now. He's the most consistent. I don't know. He's a special player. He always has been. He was kind of a Patrick Mahomes before Patrick Mahomes. Like Stafford was doing the weird arm angles and no looks and all that stuff before it was cool. He's always just been an easy guy to root for. That hasn't changed. This marriage with Sean McVay is going exactly how we thought it would be going, maybe even better. Like we thought it would be good, but like, I don't know. It might even be going better than we thought. But yeah, as of right now, I think Matt Stafford, from a quarterback perspective, has a pretty good grip on the MVP right now.
Caleb?
Yeah, I gotta agree, man. He's winning, and he's playing at the level he is. He's 37, about to be 38 in like sometime this offseason. Or right around, actually, matter of fact, it might be around the Super Bowl. But, dude, he's just been phenomenal. They're winning games. They're playing at an extremely high level. I was going to make a joke and be like, no, actually, I think it's Dak Prescott. But
we
I'm
don't do that here.
Not going to do that. Not going to do that. But, no, I think Matt Stafford right now is – since it is a quarterback award, I think he's number 1. Otherwise, I think it would be Jonathan Taylor would be my 1, and then probably Myles Garrett my 2, and then Matthew Stafford, if I could do it. But, yeah, I think Matthew Stafford right now is my MVP.
Yeah, and when we talk about greatness and watching good players, throw a Rams game on and watch that team. They're a damn good team, fun team to watch. And it wouldn't surprise me if they were the NFC representative for the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
It's not far-fetched. I don't think you're making a bold statement by saying the Rams are going to be a Super Bowl team. So
no, how ridiculous. He has 27 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. The homie plays in a tough division. They play a tough schedule because they're division winners, I think. Either way, they play a tough division, tough schedule. 27 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. That's not even that's in another world right now. Oh, stop.
Patriots don't want the Broncos right now. Patriots don't want the Broncos.
Yeah, so, Mom, you hear that? Patriots don't want the Broncos.
Yeah.
Give me the Patriots.
So, Matt, before we get out of here tonight, let everyone know about tomorrow.
Guys, this is a very special episode, something that I hold near and dear to my heart, with my son Aiden being on the spectrum. We're going to have Jenny Bjorn from the Bowles and Bjorn Initiative for Childhood Apraxia of Speech. She's going to get on here. She's going to talk to us about that and talked about working with Garrett Bowles and his son King. That pretty much inspired their whole initiative. They're going to be on here tomorrow. It's still unsure if Garrett will show up or not. But, hey, tune in tomorrow and find out. He might surprise us. So, very special episode. Austin and I were super excited. I mean, the rest of everyone else too, but this is one that we're all looking forward to.
Yeah, and again, this is what our show's about. Yes, it's football, but at the same time, is we want to connect with, the human side of this. So this is going to be really, really exciting. I'm encouraged, or I'm what they're going to talk about. So I know we're going to have a great list of questions for them. Tomorrow's a big episode for everybody, so make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and make sure you guys tune in for tomorrow. Does anyone else have anything to add about tomorrow before we wrap it up?
Man, I'm just excited. I know a little pre-Caleb era, we had always talked about, like, one of the things we always wanted to do was, make a difference and highlight charitable organizations and player foundations and all the other ways they make a difference. And this is a prime example right here. What makes it a little more special is it's near and dear to our brother Matt's heart, obviously. So we're just excited for it, right? On so many levels. So definitely make sure to tune in, hear about the great work that foundation is doing, help out if you can, or even just to share the things we'll put out about them as well, to just help spread awareness and help the cause if possible. So huge episode tomorrow, and just truly excited.
Caleb?
Yeah, I'm super excited too, man. Both of my parents grew up. They're both teachers. And they actually teach students with disabilities. And so this is near and dear to my heart as well. I'm super excited. Really looking forward to this. And I think it's for a great cause. Definitely encourage you all to watch tomorrow and listen. But super excited.
Our show was started on that foundation of we want to help others. And we're going to post quite a bit tomorrow about this episode. We're going to post links to their website. Like my brother said, if you want to help out, you can help out. Or just share the post and get the word out there again. Because again, at the end of the day, our main goal for the show is to highlight those. And yeah, we're super excited about this show tomorrow. Let's make 4:30, hurry up and get out of work and get home and get ready for this episode. So yeah, guys, tonight, great job. Thanks to everybody in the chat and the comments. You guys killed it as usual. So let's give some sponsorship shout outs, starting with Angie and her team at Emporia State Federal Credit Union, Chovik's Banking of Choice, and the War Room's Banking of Choice. We are very excited for Angie and her team. And then Troy, his group, Field Ops Kansas, for your field markings in the Kansas area. And then I have my Badger Barrel shirt on tonight. Weather, again, is still super, super crappy in the St. Louis area. But we will at some point be able to fire our Badger Barrels back up at some point. And we got Homage. Anyone wearing their Homage stuff tonight? Doesn't look like it. And then our big one, Jeff and his team, JBW Solutions. We have the JBW Solutions Studio. Guys, again, we are so thankful for all of our sponsors and affiliates. Without them, the show's not possible. Just, again, seeing everything and what we're doing on this show. Cody will not be with us tomorrow as well. Still got a lot of work stuff going on for him right now, but he's still tuning in. He's watching. He's still supporting, getting reels ready. He'll be back with us hopefully this weekend for our pregame show. So everyone, enjoy your night, and we will see you guys with a huge, huge episode tomorrow. We'll see you guys then.